Valley Club, it is the moment you've been waiting for. The reveals, the kits of the Extreme X-Men. Yeah, we got all the new characters, Nightcrawler, Sunspot, Forge, and the reworks of Gambit and Cyclops. And if you're ready for all of that, and you know what to do, find that like button and let's go smash it. And welcome back to the ValleyFlyin channel. I am ValleyFlyin, and I hope you're having a great weekend. In this video, we got the kit reveals for all the Extreme X-Men and the reworks. But if this is your first time here on the channel, hit that subscribe button for more great Marvel Strike Force content. At least 5 Marvel Strike Force videos per week on the channel. Usually there's a lot more. We got reveal videos like this, gameplay videos, question and answer videos, news videos, everything to help your experience in Marvel Strike Force. Without further ado, let's go right onto the test server to check out these Extreme X-Men and their full kits. Let's look at the first one. I'm most excited for Nightcrawler. Let's check him out. He is a hero, global, mutant, brawler, Extreme X-Men, and he's war ready. And his unique is going to be this stuff, Tempered Osmio. So same stuff as Morgan Le Fay, Gambit. So start saving this stuff. It's going to be very, very rare. Is basic. Attacking the primary target, 200% piercing, flipping a positive effect into a negative effect, bonus attacking 3 times for 150%, for 50% piercing, flipping 1 positive effect into a negative effect. In the raids, this character has 3 or more X-Men allies. On the last bonus attack, apply ability block to the primary target. On crit, aid 1 regeneration for each other crit from this ability and prolong the duration of that regeneration by 1. This attack gains 100% crit chance against target with exposed. And what the T4 does, as you can see, 20% piercing to primary and secondary attacks. And in the raids, this character has 3 or more X-Men allies. Apply ability block to the last target. So very, very good move. And it looks like the ISO 8 counter does pretty much the same thing. It does 247% piercing, still flips at 1%. Everything else looks pretty much the same. Let's check out his special return cooldown here. As you can see, the T4 adds 100% piercing to primary and secondary attacks. Rebound chain to an additional target, apply evade to 2 most injured allies. And if you saw the strike time episode from yesterday, this is that infinite rebound chain. So he's going to attack the primary target, 440% piercing, applying stun, bleed, and exposed. Rebound chained to 3 targets within infinite spaces of the previous target for 230% piercing and applying bleeds. Also applying evades to the 2 most injured allies, applying defense up to 2 turns for self and all allies. Gain safeguard for 2 turns. And a lot of stuff is not just in the raids, guys. This is a strong special. This guy's gonna have a lot of great plug and play value. If Nightcrawler is charged, fill speed bar by 20% for self and all X-Men allies. Fill speed bar by 20% for the non-X-Men ally with the highest damage. And in the raids, fill speed bar by 20% for self and all Extreme X-Men allies. Losing a charge, this attack cannot be counterattacked. Man, that was a mouthful. And the good thing, like I said, a lot of this stuff, not just in the race. Let's move on to the ultimate. Longer cooldown, 8 turn cooldown, but you're starting with 6 ability energy there. Just attack all enemies, 500% piercing, and do the following to all enemies. Clearing all positive effects, applying 2 slow up to a maximum of 3, applying 1 vulnerable up to a maximum of 5, clearing all charge on the primary target. You're going to apply 1 speed up to self and all X-Men allies up to a maximum of 3. And I like that a lot of this stuff is not in the raids either. Prolong the duration of all positive effects on self and all allies up by 1 up to a maximum of 3. And this attack gains 500% extra focus, is unavoidable, cannot be blocked or counterattacked. My goodness, it's going to be strong outside the raids as well. Let's take a look at the massive, excuse me, what the T4 does. Gives him additional 100% piercing to all enemies, prolonging the duration of all positive effects on self and all allies by 1 up to a maximum of 3. And the long passive, the T4 for the passive, that's going to gain speed up on spawn, 2 charges on spawn. And the speed of this character can only be, let's see if we can figure out what that does, can only be reduced by slow. So kind of like Quicksilver there, very, very fast. All right. The full passive with the T4 on spawn, gaining speed up and 2 charge, applying evade to self and all X-Men allies, and in the raids, fill speed bar by 25% for self and all Extreme X-Men allies on spawn. On turn, flipping 2 negative effects on self into positive effects. On crit, Heal speed bar by 10% for self and all Extreme X-Men allies on dodge. Heal this character for 10% of this character's max health. When this character drops below 30% health for the first time, do the following to this character. Clear 3 negative effects and gain 3 evades. The heal and barrier 30% of this character's max health. Heal speed bar by 30%. Man, this is a long passive. The speed of this character and each ally can only be reduced by slow. He's also going to gain 60% max health. Extreme X-Men allies are also going to gain 30% max health. Extreme X-Men allies gain 30% max health. So a lot of stuff on this, man. It's a long passive. And if you're wondering how fast is this character, 120 speed, that's it. So I guess a lot of his speed is going to be coming from that speed up. Let's move on to the next character, Sunspot. This is the energy battery of the team. Let's go take a look at his basic here, and he's going to attack the primary and adjacent targets for 300% damage and applying the bleeds. 1 bleed to the primary target per crit, gaining 1 charge up to a maximum of 10. And the ISO 8 counterattack is going to attack the primary adjacent target for 225% damage, plus 17% piercing, and it's still going to apply the bleeds and still gain the maximum charges as well. Moving on to the special, actually, let's go take a look at the unique. It is Phoenix's Astral Energy there, so a lot of these same uniques for these characters. This special, their long cooldown, 7-turn cooldown. The T4 is going to do more damage to the primary and secondary targets, 60% on the basic. On the special, the T4 is going to do 90% damage to the primary and adjacent targets, prolong negative effects, excluding ability block and stun on each target by 2 up to maximum of 3. And what it's going to do in its entirety, applying ability block to the primary target, attacking primary and adjacent targets, 420% damage, and applying slow, prolonged negative effects, excluding ability block and stun on each target by 2 up to a maximum of 3, and in the raids, prolonging all negative effects on each target by an additional 1 up to a maximum of 3, and you're going to generate ability energy for self and all X-Men allies. This attack is unavoidable, cannot be blocked, cannot be counterattacked. Man, this is a strong kit for all of these characters. All right, the T4 for the ultimate is 130% extra damage to all enemies, and in the rage, generate an additional ability energy for self and all extreme or all X-Men allies, not just Extreme X-Men allies. So I like that a lot of their kits are not just Extreme X-Men, but extending to the X-Men as well. So in case you want to use some of your older characters or characters you already have built, you can use them. Hopefully they're viable in these raids. Long cooldown on the ultimate though, 10-turn cooldown. And what it is in its entirety, for each enemy with charge, gain 1 charge up to a maximum of 10. Attack all enemies, 600% damage, plus applying offense down for 2 turns and defense down for 2 turns. In the raids, applying disrupted to all enemies, clearing a charge on each target, generate an ability energy for self and all X-Men allies, and in the rage, generate an additional ability energy for self and all X-Men allies. That is why they have such long cooldowns, because he is giving them ability energy. And what the passive is in its entirety on spawn, applying offense up to self and all X-Men allies. For every charge on this character, generate 1 ability energy for self and each Extreme X-Men allies up to a maximum of 10. That is a strong move. I believe what they said in the Strike Time episode yesterday, these charges would persist between each node. So these X-Men allies would get stronger between node 2, stronger from node 1 to node 2, and stronger even more from node 2 to node 3 if you are saving these charges. But yeah, very strong in raids. Apply offense down for 2 turns to all enemies. On turn, heal self for 3% of this character's max health per charge on this character, up to a maximum of 30%. So yeah, it could be 30% every turn if you have him fully charged. Gaining 25% damage plus 5% damage per charge on this character. Extreme X-Men allies gain 25% more damage. If this character has 5 or more charge, this character and all Extreme X-Men allies gain 25% additional damage. And just in the raids, if this character has 3 or more Extreme X-Men allies, enemy characters cannot gain taunt. Ooh, I like that. That's gonna be interesting. Gaining an additional 25% damage, and Extreme X-Men allies can gain an additional 25% damage. Man, this is very strong. And as far as his stats here, his speed is at 113. So not super fast, not super slow either. Moving on to the last but not least new character of the bunch, it is Forge. And his unique is this infinite energy, same stuff as Dagger, Viv Vision, and a few other characters there. And taking a look at the basic, the T4, 20% damage to primary and secondary targets, applying deflect and regeneration to self and all X-Men allies. And what the move is in its entirety, attack the primary target 220% damage, a deflect and regeneration to self and all X-Men allies. And the ISO 8 counterattack chance is going to be 165% damage plus 17% piercing. The rest of the stuff is the same. Moving on to the special, the T4, 40% damage to the primary and secondary targets, clearing heal block from self and all X-Men allies. And it is a 5-turn cooldown starting with 5 ability energy. Attacking the primary target for 400% damage, copy 1 positive effect excluding taunt. Chain to adjacent target, 400% damage, also copying a positive effect excluding taunt, spreading all positive effects on self excluding taunt to all X-Men allies, clearing heal block from self and all X-Men allies, heal self and all X-Men allies by 20% of this character's max health. If charged, applying immunity to self and all X-Men allies, then losing the charge. So this charge on this character is very important as well. 10-turn cooldown on the ultimate. The T4 is going to give you 50% more piercing, the primary and secondary target in the raids, applying evade and safeguard to self and all extreme X-Men allies. And the move is going to attack the primary and adjacent targets, 500% piercing, plus clearing all positive effects. That is a strong move. Clearing all negative effects from self and all X-Men allies, heal self and all X-Men allies for 30% of this character's max health, prolong the duration of all positive effects on all X-Men allies by 1 up to a maximum of 2, applying counter, death proof, deflect to self and all X-Men allies, and in the raids, applying evade and safeguard to self and all extreme X-Men allies, applying charged up to a maximum of 10 to self and all X-Men allies. That is a very strong ultimate. Also applying 10 charge up to a maximum of 40 to Cyclops. Man, Cyclops is going to be very, very strong with his 40 charges. Revive 1 extreme X-Men ally with 100% health. If there are no extreme X-Men allies to revive, gain 3 ability energy. You may be using this ultimate more, even if you don't have anybody to revive. And the passive, the special, the T4 on spawn, applying defense up to self and all extreme X-Men allies. And this is a long passive, ladies and gentlemen. On spawn, applying offense up to self and all X-Men allies. On turn, craft a random invention this character does not have. The rifle upgrade on attack is going to apply a vulnerable. Shoulder cannon on X-Men ally turn, so all X-Men turn end, attack the lowest health enemy with 200% piercing, and target rectile, gain 25% crit chance for self and all X-Men allies. I like these, and hopefully it's very obvious what these will be able to do. We haven't been able to test these, or I haven't tested them in the raids yet, so hopefully it's obvious what these inventions are going to do, or what inventions are active in the game. On turn, heal the most injured X-Men ally by 5% of this character's max health. When this character or any X-Men ally drops below 50% in max health, barrier all X-Men allies for 10% of this character's max health. Heal speed bar for this character by 15%. Gain 30% armor and 30% resistance for self and all X-Men allies. In the raids, gain an additional 60% armor, 60% resistance for self and all extreme X-Men allies. At his speed, 98, very slow character. All right, the reworks to Cyclops and Gambit. The bigger rework got to Cyclops because he's an older character. So let's go take a look at his stats first. Now his stats got boosted a little bit. His health went up by 70%, damage 30%, the armor 70%, focus 18%, and the resist stat went up by 16%. Speed is the same at 108. And take a look at the changes to his kit. The basic is going to apply a defense down. It was a 50% to apply defense down. And if it has X-Men allies, it's going to apply slow to the primary target. This used to be defense down. The ISO 8 counterattack chance is going to attack the primary target 300% damage now. And it's going to do pretty much the same thing as the basic. And moving on to the special, this is where most of the changes were made to the Cyclops kit. It's going to ignore stealth that was not present before. All the stuff down here is new, applying defense up and regeneration to 3 most injured X-Men allies or self, applying defense up and deflect to the 3 highest extreme X-Men allies and self, and in the raids, barrier the 3 most injured X-Men allies for or self for 20% of this character's max health. Attack still cannot be counterattacked. Moving on to the ultimate here, clearing revive from all enemies is brand new. And this attack gaining extra 500% focus is brand new. It's still gonna do a lot of damage, and you're gonna be able to do a lot more damage because of the changes to the passive. A lot more changes on the passive here. On self for X-Men ally turn, this was only Uncanny X-Men. Now it's essentially the all X-Men. And the second line in the raids here, on self for Extreme X-Men ally turn, gaining an additional 1 charge up to a maximum of 40. So yeah, that ultimate that we talked about is gonna be able to do a lot of damage, and you could save it for whatever node you want. You could use it in node 1 if you want, or you could get more, or you could save it up for that 3rd node and just do a lot of damage with that ultimate. You could use it how you want. Also, when an enemy attacks a Phoenix ally or Dark Phoenix ally, now Extreme X-Men ally, you're gonna attack that enemy was 200% damage. Now it's going up to 250% damage. And on a non-summon X-Men ally death, it was only Phoenix. Now it's extended to all the X-Men. You're gonna gain offense up, fill the random magic or Wolverine speed bar by 100%, also extending to Forge. And you're gonna gain more focus. 50% more focus, and X-Men allies are also gonna gain more focus as well. Those are some big changes. The Cyclops, let's move on to changes to Gambit. These aren't as big because Gambit was already a good character. His stat increases. Health goes up by 30%. Base damage goes up by 10%. Base armor, 5%. Base focus, 10%. And base resist goes up by 10% for Gambit. There are no changes to the basic. A minor change to the special here. You see applying speed up for 2 turns for self and all X-Men allies. The ultimate is a very, very good move. The main thing that it does here is flipping 2 positive effects to negative effects on all enemies. This used to only be in Crucible. And last but not least, pick a card. We got some changes here. On spawn, he's gonna gain 2 charge. The second charge was only gained in Crucible. So this is making him more viable in many game modes there. You're also attacking the most injured non-summon ally, ignoring taunt and stealth. The stealth was added. This part here in Crucible and raids, well, all this Crucible bonuses were extended to the raids there. So you're gonna do all that stuff that he did in Crucible as well. On crit, apply evade to self and all unlimited X-Men allies. Well, it's also extended Extreme X-Men allies. And same thing here, the unlimited and Extreme X-Men allies are gonna gain 25% crit chance and 25% crit damage. Everything else is the same. So Gambit got a lot better, Cyclops got a lot better, and I like that they're extending a lot of these bonuses outside of the raids. Obviously, there's gonna be very, very strong in the raids, but I like that they're giving a little more value in other modes like Crucible and War. I like this team. I'm very excited for this team, especially the characters and the reworks. Let me know your thoughts on it. Are you as excited as me, or are you looking forward to other things in Marvel Strike Force? Hopefully this video did provide you some value and some insight as to what is coming up very, very soon in Marvel Strike Force. And if it did provide you some value, leave it a like. It is free for you, and it helps out the channel tremendously. And if you want to check out what are the best characters you use your dark promotion credits on, then check out the video up there. I will see you guys next time. Hulk fist bump, ValleyFlyin out.